The last apprentice to be inducted as a Sith Lord, in canon at least, was Darth Vader. After both of their deaths, Sidious and Vader, the Sith died out, and their legacy went unfulfilled. In the expanded universe in Legends material, we know that Darth Vader went on to take as an apprentice Starkiller. Galen Marek served the purposes of Vader at least as an assassin, similar to how Sidious used Maul. In canon, however, Vader did not go on to take a new apprentice, and not for a lack of people. Simply, Vader was not interested in any other than his son, Luke Skywalker. Today, we go on to explain the person that offered to be Darth Vader's apprentice and longed for it. Unfortunately, though, Darth Vader went on to reject in what we now know as canon Disney lore. Now, I will explain quickly who is this person that wanted to become Vader's apprentice and how everything transpired. You see, this all started once Vader was introduced to Silo's creations, half organic and half augmented technology, abominations as Vader called them. Now Palpatine simply told Vader that he had competition. He had to fight to retain his position as the Empire's main enforcer. This was of course proved to be not much of a challenge for Vader. He picked them all off one by one, but one of them, Aelin, took it a step further. This all happened when Sidious sent Vader to the planet Shutorun, where civil war engulfed the planet, and Vader was tasked with helping Queen Trios to retain power. By retaining that power, they retained also the resources that this place was rich with. Before Vader went there, he was also told by Sidious that he will be accompanied by the twins, Morit and Aelin, on this mission. Of course, Vader didn't like this idea at all, but nonetheless, he was determined to prove his master wrong for doubting him in the first place. After a couple of successful missions in Shutorun, the twins started to get inspired by Vader and vice versa. Vader too at times, although he still thought they were abominations of technology, of course, a mockery of the true power of the Force. One day though, while they were prepping for battle, Vader was just minding his own business, watching Morit and Aelin sparring in the distance. As Vader was leaving with 000, suddenly someone called on Vader. It was Aelin, and she asked him immediately if they fought, who would win. Vader simply dismissed her by saying her technological advantage doesn't even compare to the power of the Force. But no, Vader had misunderstood. She was asking him about her brother. Who would win between Morit and Aelin? There can only be one. Again, Vader dismissed her. She was being sold a fantasy. There was no future for either her or her brother. Well, she then pleaded with the Sith Lord to help her, train her. She wants to become more powerful. The Jedi disappeared when she was just a child, and he is the only one remaining of that old religion. She wanted to honor that memory by training in the ways of the Force. But no, just no. Vader told her that any lesson he has to teach would be of no use to her, since basically she was not a Force sensitive. She only had augmented powers, amplifying her use of technology. Lastly, Vader simply refused. He will do nothing for her, and walked away from a potential new apprentice. From someone who was eager to learn about the ways of the Force and basically serve Vader in any wish he had. But Vader was more intelligent than just taking a simpleton for an apprentice. He was right. She had no real powers. He could teach her nothing, basically. He would appear treasonous before Palpatine since he had taken an apprentice, obviously to dethrone Palpatine. And what's more, this so-called apprentice is not even worth it. All she could do is duel and fight with a lightsaber. No, my friends, Vader was prepping for something much more. He was getting ready to recruit the ultimate apprentice, his son, Luke Skywalker. Furthermore, and I feel like we've talked about this, but Darth Vader's realization that he had made a mistake ultimately came during this time period when he just had enough with Sidious. You see, either intentionally or unintentionally, I mean, it's not made clear, but Sidious made Vader feel like he was right back to square one as he was with the Jedi. He was being used as a tool, but secrets were being kept from him, and and he was out of the loop. He was basically just ordered around just like he was as a Jedi. That's the thing that made him unhappy, and that's the final thing that made him change sides. Ironically, that's why he became a Sith, only to find himself in the same position decades later. And as far as apprentices go, Luke Skywalker was his best chance to go back to what he ultimately loved, which was power. He had concocted this idea that power meant immortality, that he could even defeat death if he could only grab as much power as he could for himself, and the Jedi and Sidious now were standing in the way. Immortality was at his reach, but he couldn't do that unless he got his son Luke Skywalker to join him and they could rule as father and son. But of course, Darth Vader would be the Emperor in this case, and Luke Skywalker would replace him as the main enforcer for the Emperor. Once Darth Vader held ultimate power, he could wield it as much as he wanted and in any way that he desired. In his mind, hopefully achieving immortality, and maybe even with the new introductions in canon, bring Padme back to complete a whole family. If he had only realized who Leia was as well, and the powerful Force user she turned out to be both in Legends and canon, then Darth Vader would have had a field day. Not only does he have a powerful son who could defeat the Emperor, but also another, as Yoda said, Leia Organa / Skywalker. So that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up and hit that bell to get notified the moment a new video is up. Have an awesome day, my Star Wars friends, and may the Force be with you always.